He writes like no other man of his century, and it's doubtful there will ever be another like him. He's a poet, a novelist, a short story master, a playwright, a screenwriter, and an opera composer. All of these things is Ray Bradbury. And Ray Bradbury is all of the things you will see in Something Wicked This Way Comes, the new Walt Disney film based on his best-selling 1962 novel. Bradbury scripted the film himself. It's based on his childhood years in Illinois and explores the fantasies he visualized as a child, the castles he built on the air cushion of his vivid imagination. Something Wicked is a time of youth, and of youthful exuberance, and of youthful terror as two small boys are trapped in a carnival of darkness and annihilation. It stars Jason Robards as the father librarian of one of the boys, the only adult in the entire town who realizes that forces of evil are at hand. Evil in the form of the sinister Midway barker, Mr. Dark, played by Broadway actor Jonathan Pryce. Now, I met Ray Bradbury recently, and we talked at some length. Here's the first of 3 segments about America's most beloved prose poet in the age of space. Ray, a few years ago you told me that Something Wicked This Way Comes was your favorite novel, but you forgot to tell me why.
Well, because I wrote it 21 years or so ago, and one night, a year or so after it was published, I was wandering through my house late at night. I picked up the book, started leafing through, burst into tears, and realized there's my father in the middle of the book. And when I wrote it, I didn't realize I was putting my father in a proper place, Not in the graveyard forever, not forgotten somewhere in the past, but in the middle of a book that's going to be read by a number of people, I hope, a few years after I'm dead. So I was so pleased to see that this son had honored his father by surprising me by putting him in the book. So I love the book excessively because of that.
Ray, usually a writer doesn't have any control over his film, how it's made, how it's cast, and so on, yet you had some of that control. How did you gain that control?
I think you gain it through reputation over a long period of time. It doesn't come overnight. You don't have it when you're 30 or 40 or even 50. But finally, a time comes when you say, all right, we're going to start the film. And I've always thought about Jason Robards as the father. And luckily, everyone echoed that. The director, the studio said, perfect. So there never was any argument. Then our next problem was searching for Mr. Dark. And you get a list of people. And finally, Jack Clayton, my director, remembers an actor in London and in New York, Jonathan Pryce, who played Timon of Athens on PBS last year. And he showed me his picture, and I met the gentleman, and I saw the first days of work, and I said, my God, he's perfect. And in fact, I believe his scene, the big scene in the library in the film.
Where he's chasing the 2 boys, right?
Yeah, and he's talking to the father.
And he's confronting the father.
Yes, and it runs somewhere between 6, 7, 8 minutes. Is one of the finest things I've ever seen on the screen. And this has nothing to do with its being my film. It's just beautiful work. I love good directors. I love good actors. And when they do something superb, it's special.
When comes the storm?
Oh, Tom Fury says the lightning shall jump the world and make men hop and skip like scalded cats.
You fool. Lightning shall make you hop and make you tell.
Storm told you.
Stop it!
I'd like to know, how big a part do special effects play in Something Wicked?
I would say they play somewhere between 10, 15, 20%. It's hard to gauge.
It sounds like it's just a minor part of the picture then.
Yeah, if this film depended on special effects alone to succeed, it wouldn't deserve to succeed. A film like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Close Encounters of a Third Kind, the special effects are almost everything. There's a humanity there too, of course, thank God. But we go for that grandiose splendor of the scene where whole cities fly across the screen. But in this case, we keep the special effects for certain moments when certain things happen and you want a 4-second view of the night sky with all these clouds moving across the sky. And just as in Close Encounters, the coming of the storm before the spaceship arrives. Well, when I saw Spielberg the morning after the preview of Close Encounters of a Third Kind, he said to me, "What'd you think of your film?" I said, "What?" He says, "Yes, it's your film. You're my papa." For two reasons. I saw it came from outer space when I was 14 or 15, and it caused me to make this film later in my life. And also, that sky there, you see those clouds? That's out of Something Wicked This Way Comes. So long before we made our film, Spielberg had done his little testimony to my novel with 1 3-second shot of the clouds over the sky in the middle of the picture.
Ray, the story has 2 boys, Jim and Will, and I take it that there's a little bit of Ray Bradbury in each of them. But how do you distinguish one from the other when you were writing the 2 characterizations?
You don't, because everything must be a surprise. So when I wrote the novel, I didn't know that I was writing 2 halves of myself. And later on, you discover what you've done. Just as a friend of mine helped me with a novel, Jack Gus, and the novel is dedicated to him and to 2 of my teachers from high school. But he came to me, and originally I had 2 characters, the father and a librarian janitor. And he said, "Hey, you don't need 2. Why don't you turn the father into the librarian janitor and make them 1 and have them move back and forth?" So I did that in the novel on his advice, and it worked. So I said, "Oh, I'm so grateful to you. All that waste space there, you don't need all those characters." So I dedicated the novel to him. Mm-hmm. So again, a surprise. And that's the way you write a book. You must never think about it. Just do it. Thinking is very dangerous because you get self-conscious and you begin to posture for your political friends, for your aesthetic friends. You mustn't be performing for various groups. You should be performing for this inner self that wants to come out. And then when it's out, what the heck? There's plenty of time to think about it.
What did this film achieve that the others didn't? Why are you so happy with it?
Well, there are moments when everything falls into focus completely, like the library scene with Dark and Mr. Holloway. And when the library scene is over, you say, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and it's absolutely the way I wanted it. That's the way it is in the book, that's the way it is in the screenplay, and you're so grateful for small favors.
I could turn your years back for you to, well, let's say, 30? And speak, or you've missed it. Going. It's gone. 31. 32. 32. Year of a man's prime, loved by many women. You might still learn to swim. 32. Going. Gone. 33. 34. 35. 35. Oh, 35. Time to father a family. Build a fortune. 35. A year when you could run up the stairs without panting for breath. 35. Gone. 36. 37. Where are they? 38. Here, your heart. Here, my count. 39. Now. 39, a fine year. Still young. 39. Gone. Oh, 40. 40, and here you're old. Old heart.
Dad, no! Don't listen!
And is that the voice of green grass and sunshine? Sweet Eden's child, the innocent young Will? 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 52. You're lost!